How many food plots do you have where deer come out in the other end and they're out of range? Or how often do we have a food plot that seems to only have nighttime activity? These are all problems that we can address with one of our favorite techniques, edge feathering, right here on Landbeat. Many food plots across the country and even crop fields go from, they're almost like a cliff. They go from tall trees to short food plots.
Right.
And they're not necessarily a staircase of vegetation types or structure of those vegetation types. From the food plot to tall grass to brambles to young saplings to shrubs to mid-story trees to overstory trees.
Yep, 2 habitat types: food plot, mature trees, and that's it. And most of the
and from a deer standpoint, that means I can stand back here, look right in the food plot, and know who's out there. Know if there's any does, other bucks, any deer at all, and I just avoid the area, or I stay in the timber and I never walk out on the food plot. But edge feathering has many benefits, and we'll try to cover all of those benefits, or at least a majority of them, in this short video.
And if you want to hear a longer explanation of all the benefits, go check out the episode linked in the description below. The podcast episode, we're going to spend an hour talking about all the benefits. But here's a great visual example of what edge feathering can do. Specifically, talk about cover for a second and how we can increase daylight activity of mature deer because we have a feathered edge that blends.
That's right.
Kind of this almost, it's like this evolution of a food plot, shrubby, herbaceous, bramble growth, and structure and cover around the whole entire edge of your food
That's
plot.
right. So from a hunting standpoint, a lot of times we'll see deer, especially mature bucks, stand off in the edge and they look in and they do this transition or loafing to kind of hide out till right before dark, and then they'll go into the field or food plot. Edge feathering can help slow that down, or at least encourage them to get out on the food plot quicker. We have a tree stand over here. We can see back over the edge feathering. If there's a deer on the other side, he can't see into it. So if we do some soft calling, or there's other deer moving around out here, he has to get through it to come check him out and see who it is, especially when we hunt with the wind going to the north and they're standing on the north or the south side of this food plot. They can't use the wind to their advantage. They have to come out and see with their eyes.
Yep.
That's just one of the benefits. If you do some directional felling of the trees and create almost a line of debris and use that to your benefit, you can almost open the gate, if you will, to allow deer to move in and out of the food plot closer to your stand while still providing good cover, good structure that they can use through other parts of the year.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about creating huntable food plots, maybe it's an acre or 2 and you're really trying to bow hunt that. There's areas where deer come out and you're like, man, I never get shot opportunities. They never work within range during daylight hours. Well, edge feathering is that technique that you can use that almost closes off that entrance point, swings them around, so when they dump into the food plot, now they are within bow range, or they're more likely to feed within bow range. Yes. You can do that with directionally felling. We term it open versus closed edge feathering. And again, that podcast, you'll listen and hear more about that technique specifically. But edge feathering, another benefit is, okay, we've got lots of forage and browsing opportunities. There's so much potential of native forage in here to browse that we see in areas that have great native browse opportunities. Edge feathering and adjacent to the food plot is less browse pressure on the food plot too.
Yes.
I mean, they're not only spending more daylight activity and more daylight time in there, they're browsing on here, getting half full bellies before they move out. They're going to stand here, feel very comfortable.
That's right.
In early afternoon situations, because this structure is keeping their bodies covered.
Yeah, it's good escape cover. It's almost as if you can picture rabbits running from brush pile to brush pile, but we don't think about it with deer a lot. And deer are the same way. When they want to feel cover around them, they want that comfort cover. And so if you have a deer or a food plot that's got really good cover around it and it feels small and secluded, you're gonna see deer a lot more active during daylight hours. And for our own anecdotal research, our trail cameras that are on food plots that have good edge feathering and good cover right there around it adjacent, that's when we see a lot of daylight activity.
A lot of daylight activity.
Especially during the rut, whenever they're,
ball game.
Absolutely. So this, you know, you look through this and you've got common ragweed, you've got winged sumac, aromatic sumac, you've got some regen of persimmons and oaks.
Lots of grapevines crawling all over this. And I guess the other important thing is this was cut 2 to 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's been burned twice now, is that
Been
right?
burned twice.
And we still have residual cover and structure from the downed trees that's not only steering deer, but allowing these other woody saplings and shrubs to come in and grow protected, but we have that's still that structure even after several burns. A lot of people worried about the consumption that you're going to get with a fire, but
yeah, this was burned this year. This was burned in early April, actually.
Right.
So we're not, but just a couple of months away, and we already have nice growth.
By season, you are well on your way to having a beautiful edge, a feathered edge, and deer feel very comfortable in habitat just like this, or vegetation heights and structures just like this. And this is a technique too, even if it's midsummer like it is right now.
Yep.
You can go out and you can still put trees on the ground and create this type of structure. It's one of those pre-season tools that we're going to use if you're trying to improve the huntability of a food plot. There's not really a bad time to be able to do that practice.
That's right.